So last time we looked at the trip generation phase of travel demand forecasting model. That is the first stage of this model, and here we are trying to find out how many trips are generated from an area, and that depends upon the land use and the size of the land use. And I told you you can have your own equations, and I shared a paper with you. I think last time or day before that, in which we developed the equations for trips from schools. Okay, so if somebody has gone through that paper, you would know how to develop your own equation. But if you don't want to, or if you don't uh, have the resources to develop your own equations, then you can use the ITE manual. And then within ITE manual, we have different options. You can use a regression equation, or you can use a trip rate. For both of them, we have the conditions. Okay, then in which condition we can use the equation, and which condition we can use the trip rate. And there was a condition that the size of the facility should be within the calibration limits of the ITE. Okay, then I showed you this network map, and the network map, we are going to use it in the other stages as well. Okay, we'll use the same network map in the other stages as well to apply the full trip generation model. And these are the trips which are generating from each zone. Okay, so they already applied the IT manual equations to that according to the type of land use, and they have developed this table. So from each zone, I know how many trips are generating and what percentage of trips are entering and exiting, because that is also given in the manual. Now we move on to the second stage of travel demand forecasting model, which is trip distribution. So in trip distribution, we are basically finding out from where the trips are coming. Okay, so they are generated because of your area, but they are generated from where, from which area? Okay, so people are coming to shopping. Okay, your facility, the shopping complex. So people are coming to shopping in your area, but where are they coming from? Okay, or if your development is a housing establishment, then people are living there, but where do they work? Okay, so after they come back from their work, where are they coming from? Which zones they usually work or go for education? Okay, so this is the end result of trip distribution, that you know how many trips are coming from each zone to a particular zone. Okay. Using the trip distribution results, you can make desired lines. See, desired lines. What are desired lines? Desired lines are lines connecting different zones. Okay, and the thickness of the line depends upon the number of trips which are between these two zones. Okay, the thickness of the line depends upon the number of trips which are between these two zones. Okay, so for example, I think they have a desired line diagram. Let me show it to you. So yeah, this is a desired line diagram. Okay, so this is for zone 1 only. Okay, this is for zone 1 only, so it is only giving you the trips between zone 1 and the other zones. Okay, so you don't have the desired line diagram between, let's say, 4 and 5. Okay, all these desired line diagrams are from one to other zones. Okay, now tell me, from which zones people are coming in more number to zone 1? Which zones have more prominent trips to zone 1? Tell me.
12.
12 and
12 and 13.
13 and
14. No, 10, 10.
10, yes. Okay, 10, 8, okay, 14 as well. And then the other zones have lesser number of trips than these zones. Okay, I think the most prominent one is 12. You are right. And then 13 as well. And then 10 maybe. Okay, so this is the design line diagram, and design line diagram, as they have shown here, is representing the estimate flows from zone 1 to the other zones. Okay, so a thick line means more trips which are coming from zone 1 to zone 14. Okay, What is the final product? So desired line diagram is one of the products of trip distribution, but obviously in desired line diagram we have just seen there are no numbers. Okay, if I want to know exactly how many people are traveling from zone 1 to zone 14 or 10, I don't know. So for that we prepare a origin destination matrix, OD matrix, okay, or they also call it the trip table. Okay, so origin destination matrix, OD matrix, or trip table are names for the same table. Okay, same matrix. So this is the final product of trip distribution. That in the origin destination matrix you can see that how many trips are between one zone and the other. Okay, this origin destination matrix is independent of travel path because that will come in the last stage. If you remember, there were 4 stages. This is the second one, then the third one is mode choice, and then the final one is the trip assignment. So you will only know the travel path after the trip assignment. So if I go here, so from zone 1 to go to zone 12, you can go like this using this highway, okay, or you can go like this and go straight and you will end up in zone 12, or you can go like this and take this street to end up in zone 12. Okay, so there are different ways in which you can go to zone 12, and still we haven't decided about it yet, that how many people who are, so people, let's say from zone 1 to zone 12, if there are 10,000, then how many of them will use this route, how many of them will use this street, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we don't know that. So this is independent of travel path. Okay, so trip distribution is applicable to planning studies as well, small planning studies as well. Okay, which we also called as traffic impact analysis. Okay, so this is analysis which is done for single facilities. So even in that case, trip distribution is done. If you go back and see the procedure for traffic impact analysis, you will see trip distribution in there. Okay, and obviously we do it in long-term planning studies as well. That's why we are discussing it here as part of travel demand forecasting model. So whether you are doing planning for short-term or long-term, trip distribution is a part of it. Okay. So when you are doing it for traffic impact analysis or traffic impact assessment, then trip distribution means that trips from your site, okay, to or from other areas or to or from each exit from your study area. Okay, the trips from your site, trip distribution. If you are doing it for a traffic impact analysis, then you know it is for a short, it is for a specific facility. Okay, that I am building a mall. So in that case, trip distribution will be from your mall, and then you will distribute it to each exit which is from your study area. Okay, so I have, let's say, 20,000 trips. So out of 20,000, how many are coming from exit, are coming from point 1, and how many going out of point 1, and similarly how many are coming from point 2 and how many going out of point 2, and so on and so forth. So trip distribution will be slightly different, okay, but basically it means the same thing. If it is going out of point 1, that means it is going to a specific zone. If it is coming from zone point 2, that means it is coming from a specific zone. Okay, so although the scale is smaller, but the meaning is the same. Okay, that you are calculating number of trips and coming in and going out to a particular zone from your facility. You can find out a trip distribution from the field data as well. So you go to the field and you count how many trips are coming from each zone to the other zone. Okay, if you have intersections, I will show you later on. Then you can find it out from the intersections as well. Okay, so if you are taking a right turn from the intersection, that means you are going towards the zone which is on the right hand side, right? If you are going straight, then you are entering some other zone. If you are going left turn, if you are taking left turn, then you are going towards the zone at the left side. Okay, and so on and so forth. So you can find out the trip distribution using the counts on the field. Okay, so you go to the intersections which are at the entry and exit points of your zones, and you find out how many people are turning towards zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, and you can find out the trip distribution from there. or you can use the analytical approach. Analytical meaning you can apply some equations to find out the trip distribution. The most commonly applied analytical approach is gravity model. Okay, we have many analytical approaches. We have many equations and models which we can apply to find out trip distribution. The most commonly applied is known as gravity model. Okay, and we will discuss gravity model in this chapter now. Okay. Okay, so gravity model is used to find out trip productions and trip distributions between each pair of zones. Okay, so like the example which I showed you, the map which I showed you, so we have 14 zones, right? 14 zones. So from zone 1 you can have 13 pairs, right? With zone 1 you can have 13 pairs. Similarly with zone 2 you can have 13 more pairs, and so on and so forth. Okay, so between each pair of zones you will find out how many trips are produced and how many trips are attracted. Now produced means they are produced from your zone and they are going towards the other zone, and attracted means they are coming from the other zone and attracted towards your zone. Okay, produced means they are produced from your zone and attracted towards the other zone. Okay, and vice versa. So when I say produce, that means they are going out of your zone. And when I say attracted, they are coming into your zone. Okay, so the gravity model will give you how many trips are produced from, let's say, zone A to zone B, and how many trips are attracted from zone B to zone A. Okay, so A and B are general terms, and then you have to apply it to each pair of zone which is in your study area. Okay, so pair of zone means zone 1, zone 2, this is one pair. Okay, so how many trips produced from zone 1 to zone 2, and how many trips attracted from zone 2 to zone 1. Okay, so produced means going out, attracted means coming in. Okay, so they are produced, but they are going where? Then you should know that, and they are attracted, then they are coming from where? Okay, so this is the trip distribution. Now gravity model will give you trip distribution between each pair of zone in terms of attractions and productions. Now the main principle applied to the gravity model is the principle of gravity. That's why we call it the gravity model, the principle of gravitational force. Okay, you must have learned about in physics. Okay, any two masses in space have certain gravitational force between them. All masses which are in space, like sun and moon and Earth and other planets and so on and so forth, they have some gravitational force between them, and they are attracting one another, and the force of attraction is equal to the size of the mass. This is the main principle, right? This is the principle of the gravity, that two masses will attract each other, and the magnitude of the attraction between them is equal to their masses. Okay, so a larger mass will have more force of attraction than a smaller mass. Okay, that's why we want to reduce our weight, so that we are we don't go into the earth, right? Then our force of attraction towards the earth will increase. I'm just kidding. Okay, so according to this principle, larger zones, so like I said, larger masses will have more force of attraction. So in terms of trip distribution, larger zones meaning zones which have more population, okay, more development, more activities, they will be larger zones. So these so when we say more mass, so we mean mass of the activity, mass of the development in that area. Okay, so if a zone has more development and more activities, then it will attract more trips than the zones which are smaller. Again, smaller in terms of their development and their density, okay, and their activities. So if a zone has more activities, it will attract more trips. If a zone has less activities, it will attract less trips. Okay, and mainly the number of activities depends upon the development density. If the area is more developed, there will be more activities and it will attract more trips, and vice versa. Okay. Now, how do you so so this is the main principle. This is the main principle. Then we need to apply some calibration. Obviously, you cannot say that all trips from one zone will be attracted by the biggest zone. Okay, so you have, for example, zone 1. Okay, and from the other 13 zones, the biggest one is, let's say, zone 12. So you cannot say all trips from zone 1 will go to zone 12. Okay, so we need to apply some calibration there. Okay, because you cannot assign all trips from one zone to the other zone. Okay, because trips are distributed, people do not normally behave in this manner that they only go from this zone to this zone. They are more randomly distributed. Okay, and they take more things into account. So what are the things they take into account? Travel time, for example. So the trips which you are going to distribute between to the other zones, you have to calibrate them using travel time. Okay, so obviously you may have a very big zone which is more developed, which has more activities, but it is far from you. So it will become less attractive to you. Okay, like in terms of the principle, its force of attraction will be less because it is far from you. Okay, it has more travel time from you. Okay, and then you can have other socio-economic characteristics as well. Maybe the services which are offered in that zone are not according to your income level. That zone is offering maybe 5-star hotels and big restaurants and fancy shopping malls and so on, and you this is out of the reach of your buying power, so you will not go there. Okay, so the main principle is bigger zone should have more trips, but how much more, that will be calibrated using travel time on socio-economic characteristics. Okay, let us see how. So you have trips coming out of origin zone. Okay, so the trips the zone from where the trips are coming out, we will call it the origin zone. Okay, and we will denote it with the letter I. Okay, zone I. So zone I is the origin zone from where the trips are coming. Okay, and then we have the destination zone. Okay, which will be represented with letter J. So J is the destination zone where the trips are going. Okay, so trips are produced by zone I and they are attracted towards zone J. Okay, so like this is what they are saying here. Trips produced will be represented with P. Okay, so P will belong to zone I, and trips attracted will belong to zone J, the destination zone, and will be represented as AJ. Okay, then between each I and J, between each pair of I and J, you will have a frictional factor. Okay, frictional factor will be the travel time. Okay, so if you increase the friction, between the two zones, that will reduce the number of trips. Okay, that will reduce the P and the A. Okay, basically the A from that between these two zones. Okay, so we represent the frictional factor as Fij. So Fij is will be calculated using travel time. Okay, basically it is taken as the inverse of travel time. So when you have higher travel time, you will have more friction. Okay, then we have a socio-economic factor between each two zones. Okay, and that is represented as Kij. Okay, so this is again a calibration factor, and there are studies on how to calculate this calibration factor. Okay, so the details are not given in your book, but I just gave you the examples that maybe this is the services offered are out of your income level, or maybe for example, if you take Bahrain, then there are some areas which are more popular among expats, and there are some areas which are more popular among Bahrainis because of the difference of our lifestyles. We want to buy some things which are available in this area. You want to buy some things. By you, I mean the Bahrainis want to buy something which are available in the other areas, so they go there. Okay, so it may have something to do with your buying habits, with your income level, and so on and so forth. So on the basis of that, you calculate a socio-economic factor as well, which is Kij. Okay, so from each zone, you will have trips produced, which is Pi. Then from each zone, you will have trips attracted. For each zone, you will have trips attracted, which is Aj. Okay, between each two zones, you will have a friction factor, which is coming from travel time, the inverse of travel time, Fij. And between each two zones, you will have a socio-economic calibration factor, which is represented as Kij. Now, if you want to calculate how many trips are coming from I to j, you will calculate, you have already calculated Pi. Okay, so Pi is coming from where? Pi is coming from the trip generation phase. Okay, so if I go here, this one. Okay, so exiting is the number of trips produced and entering is the number of trips attracted. Okay, the exiting is number of trips produced and entering is number of trips attracted. Okay, so you already have P and I. Okay, so if I'm talking about zone 1, so this will become Pi for zone 1. Okay, and this will become Aj for zone 1. Okay, and from where you are getting this is coming from the percentages given in the IT manual. Okay, so Pi and Aj already calculated from the trip generation stage. Okay, and then you have Fij, which is the friction factor, and Kij, which is a socio-economic calibration factor. Okay, so this is the numerator and the denominator. You take all the trips attracted into the friction factor and into the calibration factor. Okay, and you do the summation for all the zones. Okay, so you calculate these factor for all the zones and do the summation, and then you calculate the Qij. So Qij is the number of trips which are coming from zone I to zone J. Okay, let us go through these points and we will look at some examples. So gravity model is applied in iterative manner. Okay, so when you calculate number of trips attracted and number of trips produced, they must match the data which you have collected in the trip generation stage. So in the trip generation stage, you have already collected, you have already calculated how many trips are entering each zone. Okay, how many trips are entering each zone. So this must, so total number. Okay, so you will have Qij between each pair of zones, right? Okay, so you have number of trips which are going, which are from zone 1 going to zone 2. So J can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In the map which I showed you, J can be up to 14. Okay, so you will calculate 14 Qijs for zone 1, and then if you add all of them, then they should be equal to Pi. Okay, they should be equal to Pi. Okay, and then trips attracted. We already have trips attracted from zone 1 as well. So if you add trip attracted to zone 1 from all the zones, then it must be equal to Aj. Okay, so trips produced total for all the zones should be equal to Pi, and trips attracted from all the zones must be equal to Aj. Okay, so in the end, when you make your origin destination matrix, you have to check these numbers. Now these numbers will not be balanced. Okay, because you are calculating between each two zones separately. Okay, productions will become balanced automatically, but trip attractions, the A values will not be balanced. I will show you later on. Okay, don't worry. So trip attractions will not be balanced. Okay, so you have to do the balancing of the OT matrix in the same manner as we did in the traffic engineering course. If you remember, we did the calibration of the OT matrix in the traffic engineering course. Okay, there was a topic about origin destination matrix, and we did the calibration using the adjustment factors. Okay, but just for the sake of explanation, I will do one iteration here as well. Okay, for the calibration of the OT matrix. Okay, Let us look at a smaller example before we apply to the complete network, which I have shown at the start. So we have our new office park, which is expected to generate 1500 homebound trips in the PM peak hour. So our analysis period is the PM peak hour. Again, these trips are calculated for the PM peak hour from the IT manual. So from this office park, they have 4 zones in which the people can go. Okay, so this is the result from traffic impact analysis. See, this is the result from traffic impact analysis. So it's a very small scale study. Okay, just for the sake of our explanation. So from this office park, the trips are expected to go into 4 zones. Okay, and from this office park, the travel time to each zone is given. The travel time to each zone is given. Okay, number of trips attracted to the office park. So these are the trips which are coming towards, coming towards the office park from these zones. Okay, so 3000 trips are coming from zone 1 to my site, and 2000 are coming from zone 2 to my site. Okay, so in terms of trip distribution, these are the number of trips which are exiting from zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, and zone 4. Okay, so they are exiting to my park, okay, to my office establishment. Okay, so I have to estimate. Okay, so number of trips which are coming out of zone 1 are 3000, number of trips which are coming out of zone 2 are 2000, and 1800 for zone 3 and 4000 for zone 4. Sorry, I made a mistake here. They are coming out of each zone, but I have to estimate how many of them will come into my office park. Okay, because obviously 1500 trips are total generated. 1500 trips are total generated, so obviously 3000 and 2000 cannot be coming to my office park. So these are the number of trips which are coming out total from each zone, and my office park has a total of 1500 trips. So out of 3000, okay, or out of 1500, how many are from zone 1, how many are from zone 2 and 3 and 4? This is what I have to estimate. Okay, and they are saying use the gravity model, estimate the number of trips to go from the office park to zone 3. So they have made our lives easier, and that we are only interested in zone 3. Zone 3. Okay, so I don't have to do it for all the zones. I just need to do it for zone 3. Okay, for the PM peak hour, because obviously the values are given for. So all values are given for PM peak hours. Okay, all values are given for PM peak hours. 1500, 3000, all values are PM peak hours. Okay, for zone 3 now. First, so I have to use this equation. Okay, now for this equation I need Fij between each 2 zones and Kij between each 2 zones. Now my zones are office park. Okay, so my this is zone J. Okay, this is zone J, and I are these 4 zones. Okay, these are my origin zones. So between each 2 zones I must have a value of K and must have a value of F. Okay, so K is given, socioeconomic factor. For each zone, the K factor is given. Okay, I need to calculate the frictional factor. I told you frictional factor is the inverse of the travel time. Okay, now I will make a Excel sheet here, and you guys will be calculating the values and telling me. Okay, so have your calculators ready. Let me make it bigger. Okay, zone, and I need Fij. Okay, zone 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, like I said, zone J is the office park. Okay, so all travel times are given to the office park site. Okay, so travel times are given here. Okay, 10, 15, 25, and 30. Give me the values of the inverse. Okay, inverse of travel time is basically Fij. Fij is the inverse of travel time. So give me the inverse of travel time for each zone.
For first one, 0.1.
0.1.
Second one, 0.067.
0.06.
0.04.
0.04. Okay.
0.033.
0.03. Okay. Okay, and I already have the K factor, so I will just write it down so I can calculate it in this sheet. And 1.5. Okay. Now trips attracted already given. Okay. So AJ value is given. AJ value is given for each zone. Okay. So there's AJ. 2000, 1800, and 4000. Okay, now if you let us, we have to calculate this factor first. Okay, we have to calculate this factor first, the denominator, because then we have to take the summation. Okay, so let us calculate the summation of A into F into K, A into F into K for each zone. Okay, so give me the value of A into F into K for each zone here. Go ahead. A, F. So for each zone, you must multiply these three values. Go ahead.
First one 360.
360.
Second one 107.
107.
And third one 72.
72.
And last 198.
198. Okay, and the summation?
$737.
Okay, now trips, sorry. So trips, sorry, I'm calculating QIJ, right? QIJ. Okay, so they are going to my office park building. Okay, and that office park building has 1500 trips. Okay, so PI is 1500. PI is 1500. Okay, then you multiply PI. So if I'm taking for zone 1 the number of trips coming to office park from zone 1, then I will take PI, multiply by the AFK factor of zone 1 and divide by the summation. So the denominator will remain the same. The denominator will always be 737. Okay, so I have to take the PI, and so PI is 1500. PI is 1500. That is also constant. So PI is constant. This is also constant. You will just change the AFK factor for each zone. Okay, so give me the number of trips coming out of number of trips between each zone and my office park building. Go ahead. P is 1500 and 737 is the denominator, and just multiply with this factor then. It will be, for example, for the first zone 1500 multiply by the 360 divide by 733. Yes.
733.
How much?
733. 732.773.
733. Okay. So now in the second case, you will just change this 360.
It will be 218. Third one 146.
146.
And the final one 403.
403. Okay, and the total is
1500.
1500, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the balancing. Okay. See, this is the balancing which I was talking about. So total number of trips produced 1500. So total number of trips produced from each zone equals to 1500. So again, you balance the trips produced automatically balanced. You didn't do that. Okay. But if they ask me that from zone 1, now for example, now if they say from zone 1 trips are going to 3 different zones. Okay, 3 different zones. So how many trips are coming out of zone 1? 3000. How many trips are coming out of zone 1? 3000. Okay, so out of 3000, 733 are going in this zone, and some other trips going in the other zone, some other trips going in the other zone. So their sum must also be equal to what? 3000. So this will be the balancing of attracted trips. Okay, so the balancing of trips produced is already done when you complete this process, but the trips attracted, they need some balancing. Okay, and I will show you later on. Okay, don't worry, I'll show you later on as well. So I think this is what we have done. Good. Okay, so instead of, so after 360 they also calculate this ratio as well for each zone, which is fine. Okay. Okay, so how do you collect data for origin destination studies? If you have to collect data from the field for origin destination studies, then it will require some extensive data collection. Origin destination data collection from the field is not easy. It's not easy. Again, I would ask you to go back to the traffic engineering course where we discussed all the different things you can do for collecting the data. Okay, the origin destination data, but they have mentioned few options here for collecting the data. For example, license plate matching surveys. Okay, and market analysis surveys. So market analysis surveys basically mean you look at, or you ask the people, okay, in which zone you like to go. Okay, and you ask in the, maybe the commercial centers or the office buildings or whatever commercial activity you have, you go there and you ask them from where customers normally come to your place and so on. This is market analysis. Okay, that you ask the people, the traders or the people who are providing the services, you ask them from which area normally people like to use your services. This is market analysis service. And license plate matching, you may already know that. What is license plate matching? Tell me. License plate matching surveys. What are those? Anybody remembers?
Yes, doctor.
What?
It's like there's two observers.
Yeah.
One at the entrance of the area and one at the exit.
Yeah.
So, for example, I'm at the entrance. I will take the number of a certain car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and another observer will record the numbers of plates as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll make matching with the number of plates.
Yeah. Yeah. So if your number plates match, that means that car entered the area as well as exited the area. So this will not be the destination of this area, the car, right? If the car entered the area and then it has exited the area as well, that means this was not the destination of the car. But if the car entered the area but did not exit, that means it is the destination of the car. Or if the car exited the area but did not enter, that means it was the origin of the car. Okay, this is license plate matching service. Yeah, you are right, brother. Well done. So license plate studies can be done manually. So you manually record the data. Okay. So obviously then you don't have time to record the full license plate number. You can record few digits from the registration plate. Okay. So in Bahrain, I think we have like, how many? We have 6 numbers, right? In the registration plate, we have 6 numbers. So out of 6, you may record like 3 or 4, because this is just for the identification. Okay. You don't have to catch the guy for anything. Or now we have automatic license plate recognition devices as well, like cameras. Traffic cameras can catch your license plate number, right? So you can have similar cameras for recording the license plate number. So eventually these cameras will give you which license plate numbers were passing in front of the camera. Okay, so if they are on the entry point, that means these license plate numbers entered. If they are on the exit point, that means these are license plate numbers exited the area. Okay, so license plate studies can be done in both ways. Okay, obviously if you have the device. Then we have Bluetooth readers as well. Bluetooth readers, basically these are you can say towers or devices which can catch the signals of your mobile phones. Okay, so all our mobile phones have Bluetooth sensors in them, right? So these Bluetooth readers, they sense the Bluetooth signature of your mobile phone, and they can track if the mobile phone is in a particular area or not, if your mobile phone is in a particular area or not. Okay, so obviously then if you have sensors in all your zones, Bluetooth reader sensors, then obviously you can track the movement of a mobile phone. And mobile phone means is in the pocket of the driver and he is driving and he is traveling. Okay, so then you can monitor their progress. Okay, so you will know exactly from which zone they have come and in which zone they are going and which route they have taken. Okay, but obviously this data is very sensitive, so normally mobile phone companies, although they have it, but they will not give it to you. Okay, you need some special permissions for that. We tried once to get this data in Saudi Arabia, my friend actually, but it was not successful. In the end, he used something else. In any case, whether you are doing license plate matching survey or market analysis survey or using license plate studies, Bluetooth reader studies, in any case, you cannot get the full data. It will be a sample of data. Okay, and then you have to extrapolate using the field studies. So you have to take traffic counts from the field as well for the total number of vehicles entering the area, exiting the area, and you have to then calibrate your table, calibrate your trip table or origin destination metrics. And this is exactly what we did in the traffic engineering course. So we will not do it again. We will not do it again. Okay. But in the end, you will have a sample of data. So you can use analytical approach, which is the gravity model, or you can use the field data using one of these studies, but then you have to extrapolate the metrics which you are getting using the field data. So that's why we said using field data to generate OD metrics is very extensive, labor intensive, time consuming, and very cumbersome process. Okay, so then if we have to collect data from the field, if we have to use one of these studies, then we limit ourselves to key origin destination pairs. Okay, then we limit ourselves to key origin destination pairs. Then when we try to limit ourselves to the main zones, the important zones. Okay, so maybe instead of having 14 zones in the last map which I showed you, you may have like 5 or 6 zones, because then for each zone you have to do all these things. You have to do a survey, you have to do a field study, then you have to extrapolate the metrics and so on. So then you will have to limit your your efforts. Okay, like I said, you can also get the data using from the turning counts of the intersections as well. But let us do it on Sunday. Let us do it on Sunday so we can complete this example as well. Okay, I will explain it and we will complete the example as well. Okay. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Okay, when you see your name, raise your hand. Ali Akil, Ali Salah, and Iman Kamil. Ali Akil, okay, Ali Salah is here, and Iman Kamil. Okay, Ali Salah is here. Asma Khalil, Zahra Sayyed, Nujus Salah. Asma Khalil and Zahra Sayyed, Nujus Salah. Okay. Dana Nasir, Nadeen Hussam, Noor Yusuf. Dana Nasir, Nadeen Hussam, Noor Yusuf. Dana Nasir, okay. Dana Isa, Reem Abdul Hamid, Zainab Muhammad. Dana Isa, Reem Abdul Hamid, Zainab, okay. Asil Adnan, Nadir Abdul Munim, Latifa Ahmad. Asil Adnan, Nadir Abdul Munim, Latifa Ahmad. Latifa is here, Asil is here, Nadir Abdul Munim. Salma Jafar, Qasim Tahir, Qasim and Badr are here. Okay, fine. Salma Jafar.
I'm here.
Okay. Akbar is here. Ahmad Amin and Ibrahim Muhammad. Ahmad Amin and Ibrahim. Okay, Ibrahim is here. Ahmad Amin. I don't know why this guy registered. He is not in any class. Okay, we are done. Thank you so much. See you guys on Sunday. Have a nice weekend. Yeah. Assalamu alaikum.